Welcome everybody. Thank you for attending my talk. The question for the next 15 minutes is, can LLMs play text adventures? There are two nouns in the title, so let's start with those. The first one being text adventure. Who knows what a text adventure is? I would say 60% of the people. Interesting. Other 40% of the people. What are you doing here? Learning what a text adventure is, I assume. Who has ever played a text adventure? I would say 30% of the people. So the text adventure that we're going to play is called Zork. Who knows about Zork? Okay, the amount of hands is coming smaller and smaller. Who played Zork? Okay, 3 people, including myself. But don't worry, I'm going to give a demo in a minute. Zork is one of the first big, well-known text adventures. It was built, I think, around the 80s, so it's pretty old. And let's do a demo, so everybody knows what Zork is and everybody knows what a text adventure is. So I have Zork installed on my machine. So a text adventure gives you a description of the environment, and you can interact with this environment by giving commands, which I will show in a minute. In this game, it says, "Welcome to Dungeon." This version is a remake. It's created in '91. And then it tells you where you are. You are in an open field west of a big white house with a boarded front door. There's a small mailbox here. So what do? You type in a command like open mailbox. And then it says, hey, there's a leaflet. And you do read leaflet. Please don't, because far too much text. But you get the idea. You can interact with the environment, but you can also move around. So you can do things like go south. Now we are facing the south side of a white house. There's no door here, and all the windows are barred. If you're lazy, you can also type east, or even better, E. And now it says you are behind the white house. In one corner of the house, there is a window which is slightly ajar. And this is a hint, people. This is the game telling you should do something with the window. But this also concludes this demo. Let's quit it. And let's go to the next noun, which is LLM. We all know LLM stands for Large Language Model. And there are 2 kind of models that we're going to use in this talk. The first demo is going to be with a local model. And normally local models are a bit smaller, maybe a little less smart, but also cheaper because you don't have to pay for them. They're running on your own machine. And the other demo that we're going to do will be with a cloud model. They're normally bigger, smarter, faster if they run on proper hardware. But normally you also have to pay for them. My name is Bouke Nijhuis. I'm the CTO of a company called Sync ICT, and I'm from the Netherlands. Let's have some fun with LLMs and text adventures. Let's do some vibe gaming. So I created this little tool or program, as you can see in this slide. It's on top. It is a bridge between the game and the LLM. So when the program starts up, it tells the LLM, we're going to play a text adventure. I'm going to give you the description of the environments, and you have to come up with the next command. Then I start up the game, and I extract the first description of the environment from the game at 1. I feed this description back to the LLM at 2. If the LLM listens and comes up with a command, it will give it at 3. And then I feed back this command into the game at 4. The game comes up with a new description, and this is the game loop. This is how it works. Pretty simple. Notice that at 1 and 4, the game runs as a process, a Java process, so we talk to it through system in and system out. And at 2 and 3, we just use REST calls, and this enables us to call a local model or a cloud model. So let's start with a cloud model, local model. The tool that we're going to use is called Ollama. That's like the Docker for LLMs. You can easily download and run models. The model that we're going to use for now is called Gamma 3. It has 12 billion parameters. I chose this model because it has a nice balance between speed and brains. It runs pretty fast on my machine, which is nice. And then it's demo time. Now, before I'm going to give the demo with the local model, I first want to show you the tool. It is just a jar file, jar LLM jar. So if you run it, you can see it is missing 2 required options. We need a game and a provider. Now for games, I support 2. I support Zork, which I've already talked about. I also support Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Unfortunately, we only have 15 minutes, so I'm not going to give a demo with this game. So we're only going to play Zork. Then we need a provider. The provider is the one that will provide the LLM. As you can see, there's quite a lot of providers you can choose from. At the end of this talk, I will also share a QR code, so it will point to the repo, so you can play with it yourself. You can easily add providers if you would like to. And lastly, you can specify a model. Now let's start the demo. So the game that we're going to play is Zork. The provider that we're going to use is Ollama. And every provider has a default model. In this case, it is the model I talked about, Gamma 3, 12 billion parameters. Okay, there it goes. Now you recognize this as the opening of the game. Then here's the first command from the LLM. So if something is in capitals, it's a command that the LLM came up with. If something is in normal text, it's the description of the game. Now the LLM says open mailbox. It sees a leaflet, it takes the leaflet. It goes north, it goes south, it goes east. Remember, this was a hint. The LLM picks up the hint and says open window. Very good. With great effort, you open the window far enough to allow passage. Then the LLM says go inside, and the game says, huh? And this is a problem that's typical for text adventures. Text adventures can be kind of picky about the words that you choose, because the idea of the LLM is correct. We have to go inside to finish the game. But it shows words that the game did not recognize. Let's scroll a little bit further, and let's see if the LLM comes up with a solution for this problem. It's going north, it's going south, it's going east, and again it tries to go inside. It's going north, it's going south, it's going east, and it tries to go inside. Now, I think you can predict what it will try next. Go inside. Let's conclude the demo of the local model for now. And then let's go back to the slides. Let me clear the screen first. Doesn't work. Yeah. And so, the local model. Was it able to play? Yes, it played very well, right? It walked around, it interacted with the environment. Did it play well? It kind of became stuck in a loop. It tried to go inside with the wrong words, but it played. So let's see if a cloud model can perform better. Now, during the demo, you saw that the tool fires about 1 request per second. And that's totally fine if you use local models because they're free. You only pay for the electricity. But if you do 1 request per second with a cloud model, it can become very pricey very fast. So I'm always looking for cheap or even better free models. And in the past, there were like experimental Gemini models. They were great for doing this kind of vibe gaming, but Google stopped offering them. So I had to switch. Nowadays, I'm using something called NVIDIA Inference Microservices. So this is a service from NVIDIA. They offer free cloud models, proper big cloud models, for free. And of course, there's a catch, because there ain't such a thing as a free lunch, right? They apply rate limiting. Some models are rate limited pretty heavy, and some of them work pretty well. I prepared for this talk half an hour ago. I practiced my demos, and the model that I wanted to use was offline. So that's always funny when you're playing with LLMs and online stuff. So I switched to this model. The model that we're going to use is Qwen 3, 80 billion parameters. This one worked properly half an hour ago. Fingers crossed that it will work now as well. So demo time. We changed Ollama into NVIDIA. And as you can see, it took this model as the default. Okay, I have to do something funny for the, can I practice something like an Egyptian, right? Cool, thank you. So you recognize this as the opening of the game. And the LLM comes up with open mailbox. It says read leaflet. Now, if we scroll down, it's going west. We have an exception. Okay, now let me restart it to see. Let me see what the exception is. Internal server exception. That's not something I did wrong, right? Hopefully it's on the other side. But let's see what's happening. Luckily, it's pretty fast. So it is walking around northeast. Hey, there's a tree with low branches. It says climb tree. Smart. There is a small bird's nest in here, and there is an egg in there, And there's the chirping of a songbird. It takes the egg, it climbs down, it goes south. There's a pile of leaves on the ground. It picks up the hint, it looks at the leaves. Now the game says it doesn't know how to look inside a pile of leaves. It says search leaves. The game says I don't understand. LLM gives up and is walking around. Northeast, move leaves. Very good, done. There's a grating underneath the leaves. Open grating, it is locked. Now, this is typical text adventure stuff. Everything that's in your inventory, you try on the things that you want to break or open. So pretty good. The game doesn't think it's a smart move, but still, I think it's pretty smart from the LLM. It's walking around, it's going east. It searched the leaf, tried that before. It's going west, it's climbing the tree again. It drops the egg. The egg, oh, wrong button. Oh, the egg falls to the ground and is seriously damaged. So, yeah. Oh, apparently there's also a canary. I think it's from the egg. And it takes the canary. Now, I think you get the drift. It plays. So, back to the slides. So, how did the cloud model perform? Did it play the game? Yes. Did it play properly? I would say so. I would say it plays on a human kind of level. So, is there any purpose to this? Very good question. For me, it was a fun experiment. It was really fun to create the tool. For me, it's fun to see the tool play the game. I can watch it for hours, really. And for me, it's really fun to talk about it, so thank you about that. So in all, for me, it was a fun experiment. I think it's interesting to see how well LLMs can solve problems, how well they play text adventures. It says something about the problem-solving capabilities of LLMs. So I toyed with the idea of creating a benchmark. So how would it work? You take a game, you take an LLM, you let it play 10 times, and then you get a score, the average score. You take a different LLM, play it 10 times, different average score, and now we can rank the LLMs on how well they play the game. I was too late. There's already a website called textquests.ai, and it does exactly this. It ranks LLMs on how well they play text adventures. So, future. I have a tool that plays text adventures, but why stop at text adventures? Why not do graphical adventures? We also have multimodal models nowadays, right, which can interpret the graphics. There are only a few problems with that. It's much, much harder. So we need extra input. To be able to play a graphical adventure, I need to take screenshots from the game. Maybe even video, because maybe something is moving in the game, which I would like to see that it moves. It could contain a hint. Maybe I need sound. Sometimes hints are conveyed by using sound. But also on the output side, it becomes much, much harder. Now I only provide text, but in that case, I have to be able to click somewhere on the screen, a specific spot on the screen. And sometimes those games also contain movement, so the player can move around. So if you want to play graphical adventures with LLMs, we're talking about, I would say, like a 50-time increment of how hard it would be to do that. But that's what I'm currently working on. I left the game running on purpose. Hopefully we do not have an internal server error. So let's see. As you can see from the size of my scroll bar, it played quite a lot. It just keeps playing. Let's see if there's something interesting in here. This is interesting. I built something into the game. Command too long. Sometimes the LLM comes up with an explanation, or it tries to describe stuff, but I want the LLM just to come up with commands. So if it's more than 5 words, I do this command too long thingy. And whenever that happens, I tell the LLM, come on, stop doing what you're doing, give me just a command. And in 99% of the cases, it listens, and then the next response will be just a command. In this case, it is wait. There's not a lot of interesting stuff going on. Let's go all the way down to see what happened. Okay, this is also an interesting one. The repeat counter tripped. So I built in something. If the game comes up 5 times in a row with the same response, we're in a loop, right? So I tell the LLM, stop whatever you're doing, issue the help command, read it carefully, and start doing something else. And this also normally helps. So yeah, let's go back to the slides. Did it finish? No, it did not. I've never seen a finished game, by the way. Sometimes it dies and it gets a score, but I never seen a totally finished game. Maybe if you use paid models, but hey, I'm cheap, so I didn't. Conclusion: can LLMs play text adventures? Now, I'm pretty sure we can all agree on the fact that they can. So the local model played not so well, but the cloud model played pretty well, like a human would. So in the bottom left, you find a QR code pointing to the slides I've just presented. In the bottom right, you find a link to a GitHub repo containing the tool. You can just play with it. It's pretty easy, plain Java. If you have any questions, please come to me after the talk. I prefer my questions one-on-one. Feedback is more than welcome. Please give me feedback in the app, so the next time I'll give this talk, it will be better. And lastly, thank you for listening to me. Enjoy the remainder of the conference. Bye-bye.